So at this point, we're going to talk about reaching out to partners, part 2. And there's a reason why we separate. You'll see in a minute why.
Alrighty, so be proactive. And of course, the best way to get connected with a partner is to get an introduction to that partner. And that's why, like I shared earlier, after every single collaborative project I ever did, I scheduled a follow-up call so I could ask them those 3 questions and say, now that we've had this experience, who else do you know that I should be having a conversation with? And I'll tell you what, doing that carried me for years in that. And I still do that. Like we just talked about Mark and we showed a picture of him earlier. Him and Vin just had a great experience. And I just reached out to him this week and said, hey, Mark, you had mentioned earlier you had some other people that you wanted to connect us to. And I was like, I just wanted to make sure I didn't drop the ball on that and be sure and put me in touch with them so we can have a conversation kind of a thing. And so, I'm always asking, because getting a referral is way better than reaching out cold to somebody. I would always want to go in warm with a referral, from somebody who knows me and who knows them. Next best thing is to be proactive and reach out, because you got to start somewhere. But even, I am proactively asking people in my life to make connections for me based on what I'm doing and stuff. So, Facebook Messenger. Do we got examples on here? I don't remember. Okay, cool. Okay. And you can use LinkedIn. Now, I will say, we've got LinkedIn in here. Alex uses that. I'm not a huge on LinkedIn. It's just that I've been so successful on Facebook that I just haven't got over to LinkedIn yet. Although I've had people tell me, Kevin, you should really use LinkedIn. And I'm like, you know what? We'll get to it. But I'm doing pretty well with what I am doing. Email, reaching out via email. Facebook, wall tag them, So all of us that were out at dinner 2 nights ago, we got that picture that the waiter took of us, and I posted that on Facebook, and I tagged you guys all in it and stuff, And Josh was, he was already commenting, hey, I wish I could have been there and all that, and I do that. Well, just this morning I put a thing up on Facebook because honestly I was missing my wife this morning, and so I just put a comment up there. I think it said, just throwing this up here, but my wife Lisa is a complete badass. And I said, I love you, honey. And so all these people are like both our friends and people that that are my business friends that don't, maybe they know my wife, maybe they don't, and then people that are friends of hers, all these people are liking on it, and she commented. I mean, I know that just made her day. And just showing some appreciation for her. I mean, I do that with everybody in my life, and I use Facebook to do that and to show appreciation for people in my life, and especially, because I do it via email, I do it via text message, I do it via Facebook Instant Messenger where it's one-on-one, and I do it right on Facebook where it's like one-to-many and lots of other people are seeing it.
Right. So here's something. There's a reason why I added the phrase "use with caution," because if you, she could talk about this more than I can. But if you go after somebody where, again, let's call a spade, right? There's definitely a pecking order in the world. If you go after somebody that's like they feel you're not anywhere near their social pecking order, for lack of a better word, you guys understand that phrase, right? And you tag them, it is a great way to piss them off. So you have to do this. This is why, like Kevin said, I'm acknowledging the fact you guys are okay with it. Most of you don't have the social level capital, right? Is that true? Okay. So that's why I say that use with caution. Kevin can tag almost anybody and it's okay. But for most of you, if you don't use this appropriately, you can set yourself back. So do you want to talk about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My personal case.
Yeah. So
it's not related to business though, but but and then also be careful about it too, because now Kevin will mention on the same time that you posted that Facebook now automatically identifies someone's familiar face and tag them, automatically tag them without you tagging them. So that's why it's really, I just have, so that's why I'm really cautious about who I'm tagging. And I have to make sure that that friend or especially influencer, because they have the influence, so they don't want you to tag them.
And they feel like you're kind of
Yeah.
like taking advantage of
Or
their-
sometimes it's their personal, like I went to an event or birthday party or something, they don't want to show their personal life or something like that out to the public. So just be cautious, because a couple of weeks ago I have a friend said that a couple of other people who went to the birthday party, that same birthday party with me, complaining that I tagged them. But I checked it, I didn't tag them. And I checked see if Facebook or maybe tagged them, but they didn't tag them either. So I'm like, okay. But then I just stopped the problem. I said, yeah, please ask that person, tell me which one I will take them off. But I make sure on my side. So yeah, it's just that. Because nowadays they automatically, and then like I said, on top of that, Facebook automatically tag them too. So just be, when you post it, just check on your tagging, or like if someone in there without their permission, or if they're not okay with it, you need to ask.
So
them
it's
for
not
it.
like everybody's going to freak out and basically, call to send you a cease and desist, but there are some folks, because they've had some less than positive experiences, other people kind of like exploiting their reputation, their name, because sometimes they may not, just whatever's going on. So just FYI, again, I don't want to create any scares, but just.
Or
No,
sometimes also be careful. Like I have this scenario a few years ago. Like if you take picture of you, but then they're in the back, and they're not in a good looking, especially women, they're not in a good position. They were like turning the, so you take them out too. So, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the next slide is about active appreciation.
Okay. So, active appreciation. You know what? I should grab that. That refer.com book, because they took, he asked me, Brendan asked me, and so okay. So this the first time I ever did this was about a year ago, where I posted on Facebook about my friend David. And David and I have been friends for, 5 years. And I have done business with David. He's referred business to me. We've created a lot of revenue together. And I have always been just so appreciative of David and his team, and I'm always letting him know, if I'm ever sending him checks, I'm writing notes along with it, saying thank you. I text him, I talk to him when we speak. But the first time I ever put something on Facebook, I just put a little blurb up there, hey, just a huge shout out to David today. I want to thank you so much for just the role that you play in my life. So appreciate having you and your team involved in my life. And within 3 minutes, he was calling me. And he was like, Kev, he's like, it's amazing. He's like, whenever we talk about you around here, he's like, everybody agrees there's nobody around who makes us feel more appreciated than Kevin, because you always do that. He's like, I got to tell you, seeing it on Facebook, he's like, that was really emotional for me, because that wasn't in private, because usually you do it in private, but doing that on Facebook, he's like, where everybody else could see too. He's like, wow. He's like, that was really awesome. And so I just kind of took a note from that. I was like, I'm going to do that with more people, because I'd always been doing it, in a private kind of a setting, one-on-one. But now, ever since, and I've been doing it online on Facebook, where other people can see too. And it always, and it's just this is just really simple stuff, just being genuinely appreciative of people. So here I did this with a gal named Danny. This was me being on the receiving end of this. I can't even remember how the heck this conversation happened, but I was he saw an article somewhere else, and Rory ends up calling me, and he's like, hey, he's like, did you get rid up in Forbes and not tell me about it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, how come you didn't tell me? I was like, I don't know. I didn't think nothing of it. So then after we hang up from the phone, he posts this thing on Facebook, and he just got an unexpected and welcome call from my friend KevinThompson about getting together in September. So I actually called him for something else, and then he asked me about that. Then he's like, he happens to mention, very nonchalantly I might add, that he was recently featured in an article for Forbes. yeah, he's off. And he goes on, but you know, this is him talking about me and stuff. So this was kind of like the reverse side of it. And then he was actually at my home in September for this event that I hosted. And afterwards, he sends me this big, huge box of coffee and stuff, because he knows I love coffee. And after being at my home, he sends me this thing of coffee. And so I just took a picture of it. I had Lisa take a picture of me. And I just put this thing up there acknowledging him. Hey, Rory, thanks so much for the coffee and that kind of stuff. And so this whole thing of active appreciation and just being genuinely appreciative for people. Because I will tell you what, I don't care who they are. No matter how big their business is, no matter how successful they are, nobody on the face of this earth gets enough appreciation. And even to the people serving you your meal at a restaurant, to the guy changing your oil at the oil change place, whatever. I mean, I say thank you to everybody. Like the gal down there this morning, you know. My server gave her a big smile, telling her thank you when she brings me coffee, you know. Because, like, you know what? Most people, I mean, they don't do that. Most people don't tip well. They don't, I mean, like, you know. And when you just show appreciation for people, for everybody, just make that who you are, incredible difference that makes.
I can do this.
Do you want to do this part? Okay, cool.
Okay, so we'll take a break right after this, and then we'll shift gears and do some very advanced stuff. Okay, so it's about an hour 20. Okay, so we've been at about an hour 20 minutes. We can wrap this up about the next 10 minutes. Okay, so networking, right? Look at live event conferences in your industry. We've already talked about this earlier, so I don't want to belabor the point. The more expensive the event, the better. This is why I don't believe in going to free events. Speakers at events are hosts of influencers. And do research on both to become a current event. This is what I was talking earlier about people just go to events just kind of randomly, you know. And buy their books, or at least read the book summary on Amazon, right?
Yes.
You guys need me to elaborate on any of these points? Any of you need me to elaborate on any of these points? Okay. Okay, direct mail. I like books because I can mail them. I'll show you a screenshot of this earlier. This is something that a client of ours actually put together. I think I have it in my bag here. Yeah, so I think you're rep for this, right? Not this company, but something like this. So this is what's called a video business card. This costs about $35, $40 if you buy them in quantity. You can't buy them individually because it's just not worth it for them to produce this, right? And Kevin and I, either December or January, we're going to mail out probably 25, 50 of these at a time to basically people, right? To invite them to the some of the stuff we'll be doing, or to join some programs we have. And the reason we're comfortable selling those out $25, $50 is we really don't. The math is on our side, right? Our goal is to make a heck of a lot more than one client, but even when we have one client, we're going to do very well. Our goal is to at least get 3 to 5 clients, at which point we'll make a massive ROI. That's again why I keep talking about harping this whole point about having big tickets, right? Because if you're selling, like, again, a $500 product, you could just go broke doing that. You can't undo some of these things that we're talking about, right? And the thing is, here's how I know it's going to happen, right? At least when we mail 25 of that, I can almost assure you at least one, maybe as many as 3 people, they're going to go on Facebook and say, man, look at this cool thing I got. And so even though they didn't become a client, they're going to advertise this for us. Because again, people are bored, right? They're looking for something different. I don't care how creative you are in email, they're going to probably look at it. There's nothing in email that's going to make it jump out. But how often are they going to get something in the mail, right?
What would the video be in there?
Basically, it's our pitch.
Oh, okay.
Right.
This what?
Our pitch.
Oh, okay.
Some testimonials, and then here's what we can do for people, right? And if you want to go extreme, you can mail them a Mac Air. I actually knew a fellow, right? A colleague of mine. He basically, he was basically at. I'll tell you the short version. Okay, I'll tell you the long version of the story, so we have some time. He was basically. I'll show you the short version because the long version there's too many details. Okay, so he figured out that, well, for him, a kind of, when you're talking about Phil, like a super affiliate is worth at least $100,000. Some of them would be $200,000, right? So he's like, well, hell, why don't you mail to Mac Air? He literally mailed 3 Mac Airs, direct mail, right? And then when they open the thing, there's one button, right? They click on it, they play the video message. And so 2 of them did, one of them didn't promote him, so okay, fine, so he quote unquote lost, right? The other 2 did $300,000, and he kept $150,000. So he's like, well, let's see, This is not really advanced calculus here, right? You basically spend $4,500 and you make back $150,000. So this is really not, college level math, right? So this is again why I keep harping the point about you got to know your numbers. You see now, by the way, if you can do it. By the way, don't do this when you sell to government agencies or basically corporations because that will piss them off. You think they're not going to make impression because anything in most industries, especially the governments, over $20, if they accept it, is considered a kickback, and one or both of you is going to get some really hot water. Because I actually did.
Brokers can't accept gifts either.
Right. Yeah, but especially government employees. Boy, I learned that the hard way when I did work at IBM Federal Systems, 20-some years ago. I'm like, what's the big deal? Actually, the crazy thing is IBM, even though I was working on the commercial side, because they're considered a government contractor, even though the division I was working for does commercial work. I'm sorry, not non-government work. It's a big enough company where they actually have a lot of government ties. So they didn't care that the division I was working for. So we actually had to give it back. I just thought it was a harmless gift, because it was Christmas, and no, you can't do that. So, just FYI. Okay, so this is a cool one too, fruit baskets, right? So I don't recommend going to Kroger and trying to figure this out. Just use a company called ediblearrangements.com. They have major offices almost every city. I suspect Seattle's probably got several locations. Mail us a thank you gift, or basically, at the very least, even if they're not going to say, well, let's do a deal, they're going to post on Facebook, or they're going to at least mention this, right? This left one costs about maybe $50. This one costs $30. Again, if that basically makes or breaks your deal, I'm sorry to say something is wrong with your offer. So, okay, we talked about this earlier. So this fellow right here, at the time, the book hadn't been out yet, so I was trying to keep him private. But since you guys are in the room right here, his name is Michael Alden. This is the book, right? Good morning, Alex. How are you? Blah blah blah. Guess what? I mean, this thing looks like it looks like a freaking robot message, right? So I didn't really know it was real or not. I said, hey, Michael, good to hear from you. Just saw this message, ordered a copy. Congrats finishing on a book. I know how difficult it is to write these things because I'm trying to basically, say I'm a fellow author. I know pain was writing these books. I'm also working on some stuff that may be of interest to you that can lower your customer acquisition cost. This is the guy I want to connect more with, Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy spends a lot of money on advertising, right? He buys ads on his behalf, and he buys ads on clients' behalf. He runs basically a media company. Buys a lot of infomercial time. And look at this, right? If this is a bot, I really want to get a hold of this, this piece of software, because it's the software that's got.
Bean uses it,
Right,
loves it. No.
No, my point, this is not a bot. This is a real person.
Oh.
This can't be a bot, because I am familiar with technology. A bot cannot write this. Read that. It's not a canned response. That's a person on the other side, which means that that's either Michael or somebody he trusts. Do you see the impact of what I just said? It's not a fake, because Facebook right now has this thing called Facebook chatbot, right? That's not a bot. Bots are not that sophisticated yet. Now maybe in 5 years they are, but I can guarantee you that's not a bot.
Did you send him an image or video or something? What's the
Yeah, it's a screenshot. I use a tool called Snagit. I just
That
said
you ordered the book.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I bought your book. I'm going to buy your book." It's like, doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't know.
Right. And again, this is he's going to make. I mean, God, if he's lucky, he'll make 55 cents on that damn book. But
Okay.
all right, so now we're actually talking. So we're escalating, right? So I asked Vanessa, say, this guy right here, runs several at least two multi-million-dollar business. Some maybe multi-millionaire. Should get on my show. Cool. And I emailed him. Said, yeah, of course I'd love to be interviewed for the book. I mean, because his book is coming out. But there is a big secret. When somebody's coming out with a book, you can get interviewed with the president if you wanted to. Because trust me, there's a very narrow window, right? So send him a book, right? So this is the fellow I was talking about. His name is Red. Yeah, so I just want to thank you for your mentoring and wisdom over the years. He's one of my mentors. You made a difference in ways I'm still benefiting from to this day. From this day, also I'm stroking his ego a little bit. I'm still, many of the big results I've gotten for myself, my clients originated from the stuff I've learned from you. I know you're a fan of Blue Oceans. I think you enjoyed this sequel. With much appreciation and gratitude, Alex. By the way, there's some stuff I'd love to follow up you with that I'll do via text, right? So that's a screenshot of the book. Cost me $22 to buy that book, and then maybe $7 for like priority mail. And now I have this physical mailing address, which I know for a fact most people don't have, even people that work closely with him. Because he's a very private individual. He's almost a recluse.
So how do you get an address of someone that you don't have.
For the send of a book.
That's the whole point.
Okay.
Right.
But if you want it to be a surprise.
You don't.
I like the laptop people that said that.
Huh?
The laptop people or the edible arrangements or. They didn't call ahead and say, oh, I'm going to send you this and your address.
Thanks to God.
No, exactly. I mean, yeah. So that's a good point. Like something like this, right? Because these guys are like in that case they're super affiliates, so they knew about each other. They're on each other's radar,
Okay.
right? But I mean, I don't recommend you mail a Mac Air just like any random person. Is what I'm saying. At least you know, I kind of at least have some sense of who that is.
Right.
I'm not sure I would have done it with my mentor. You see, because I don't know what's going to come of this, right? So that's a long shot. But this guy's mailing to a super affiliate that can move a lot of units, right? As you know, right? I mean, like in these worlds, a super affiliate can move like 100,000, $500,000 worth of stuff. So it's a calculated gamble,
Right.
you know. And the third person did promote now. But the next time the guy has an offer, who do you think is the first person? Hey, dude, you used to have that Mac Air? Yeah. Hey, by the way, guilt, you know. So. I know that's not necessarily something Kevin prescribes, so I'm just giving you a different side of it, right? Okay, so again, I mean, I could go on, but you guys get this idea here? So this is some of the examples I mentioned earlier. You know, I mean, I don't want to put this out on a checklist, right? They'll mail somebody a Mac Air, like, what the hell is that about? You see, but these are some of the more creative ways that people that I've used or my clients, or actually I know the numbers behind. I've done this many, many times. I've done this on behalf of clients. In fact, the owner of that company is a client of ours, right? And this is something we're going to be recommending all of our high-end clients do.
If that's the disc.com one?
Yeah, that's actually made by disc.com right there. And they have different versions of that. And of course, you know, that's kind of an extreme version, but you get the idea. Yeah, so that's kind of that. So it's kind of like, you know, this is there really is an exercise to this because we are kind of already did it last time. The reason I broke this up into two is because one is about figuring out, like, you know, the process of like building the rest of building social capital, and these are more like specific examples. So it's not like, well, write down what you're going to mail to the next person. You know, this is just kind of giving you some ideas of what to do. Yeah, but trust me, this is something people I still hear about this. Oh yeah, you know, like, you know, because especially if you mail around the holiday, it's a great because you're also going to look great to their staff. Right, because you know, most people are going to take this and you're going to give their staff. Because a lot of times, especially depending on how high up the food chain they are, even in connection with influencers, a lot of times the day-to-day stuff, they're probably not involved with it. Like we have one client that's paying us, you know, close to 20 grand. They don't intend to call us because they're busy running their, you know, $20 million business or whatever. Their right-hand person's on the call.
Right.
Well, we have a great relationship with the CEO, but a crap relationship with their right-hand person, that's not going to go anywhere either.
Right.
So that's why, you know, this is kind of, you know, good. It's good within the staff. This is important for you guys that are starting to sell to, basically, like, you know, mortgage brokers or whatever. You can have a great relationship with the CEO, but if they're reports, you don't get along with them, it's not going to go very far, right? And usually when it blows up, they're going to say, well, what the hell happened? Because you didn't build a relationship at all the levels. Okay, so it's good. I think it's a good time to take a break. It's 3 o'clock at this point, and so we'll come back. We'll start going to some fairly advanced partnering scenarios, and I think a couple of you, we still, unless you're going to be flying out, I think we're going to basically meet after this next session, because I think a couple of you had expressed interest in meeting us for that, like, you know, that kind of one-on-one session or something. Okay? All right, so this is where we really go to advanced scenarios right here. So. But let's take about a 20-minute break. We'll be back by 3:20. Yeah, we'll take a 20-minute break. We'll back about 3:20. So 3:25. We're going to meet with you know, I could tell you to, just do it on the board. Yeah, make sure it's on the board. It's $1 billion.
Yeah. Take video. That's good. Video can be very nice.
Got to apply for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a word.
So,
They don't, yeah. They're
question,
interested.
so with the doctors, is there any particular associations that you can?
If I listen, because oh yeah, this thing here.
Huh?
AMA, American Medical Association was on this one.
American.
American Medical Association. A lot of them. Remember?
Yeah, so he's just saying, just go there.
With the,
I'll make you more money.